Greetings everybody, Drew here with a quick tutorial, and I just want to give you a bit of a workflow tip for when you are working with extremely dense geometry that, as you can see, we put a lot of detail into this asset that I'm producing here. It's an unlicensed statue I'm going to be debuting at Big Texas Comic Con this year, and I don't want to give away too much, so I'm not showing the head, but it is definitely a recognizable alien creature. In any event, this thing, when it was finished, weighed in at about 90 million polygons. Now, when you are cutting and keying an asset for statue production, a lot of times people will use Dynamesh. I don't recommend that if you put a ton of detail into your piece. Let me show you an example here of what can happen when you do that. So we have this asset here, and it is extremely sharp, has nice crisp details where I need them. If I were to Dynamesh this, let's take a look. Okay, see, did you see that little flick? Now, up here it's not that noticeable, but here, all of that crisp detail gets all muddied up and ugly. Now, granted, some people might not even notice. It might not even matter, okay? But when you put as much time into a piece as some of us need to for various assets, you definitely don't want that to happen. So one thing that I recommend is we have this asset here, and this is about a 5 million polygon asset after being decimated and everything. Now, if you look at the polygroups here, everything is still put together. It is all fused, and we still have all the high resolution details. However, we didn't use Dynamesh. So the way that we go about doing this when you have a really, really high detailed sculpt is going to come over here, hit Alt, grab the gear, go to Remesh by Union. Now, why does that sound familiar, potentially? That's because it's essentially basically just booleaning. However, instead of having to go through the tool palette, you just come in here and you just activate it that way. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is because a lot of beginners will, scratch their head trying to figure out, well, how do I merge everything together? And then it's like, all right, well, we'll merge it down, and then we'll Dynamesh, and we'll retopologize and subdivide, and then reproject, and blah blah blah. And yes, all that stuff is necessary for certain things, but not everything. So this is literally just a tip to say that if you have a very high resolution asset and you want to cut it up, you do not want to use Dynamesh. Use the standard Boolean process. Now, as you can see, we can still get them cut and keyed and fit just the way that we need to. There are obviously caveats to working without Dynamesh. For one thing, it definitely takes a lot longer because you're doing a different process and it's a little bit more time consuming. Another issue is that when you are unioning things together, sometimes there's artifacting and things like this. It's not a very smooth surface, so once you weld them all together, you're going to want to kind of tessellate the objects that you have a little bit more faces to work with. Otherwise, as you're doing your boolean, sometimes you can get like weird artifacts and jagged polygons and stuff sticking out. So I'm going to show you really quick how to fix that. If you go to Shift for smooth, turn on sculpturous. Now we're going to go ahead and just kind of come in here and start smoothing this asset out. And as you can see, we are getting some pretty nice, nice tessellation going. It's definitely faceted, but we're not looking at this, okay, so it doesn't really matter. So we're just smoothing it out. That way, when you boolean it, it'll be nice and smooth instead of super hard and rigid and stiff. And so I highly recommend that. If you would like to see a tutorial on the entire process, let me know. I'm thinking about putting together a class to show how to do this stuff. If that's something that interests you, sound off in the comments, and I will definitely consider it. In the meantime, I hope that some of you found this somewhat useful. Of course, there's going to be people on the internet who are like, well, you didn't show anything, blah, blah, blah. And by all means, figure all this stuff out for yourself if you're one of those individuals. For those of you who actually do appreciate what I'm trying to do, you're very welcome. And I hope that you found this somewhat useful. Yeah, it's a very lengthy and involved process, but all I can do is try and point you in the right direction. So from now on, if you have a lot of detail, do not Dynamesh. Use union by remesh, or remesh by union, or booleaning. You will not regret it.